It's a real pleasure for me to be here with you today, with my colleague Bendy Daher, surrounded by representatives from the Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Agriculture, representatives of municipalities, NGOs. It's also a big pleasure for me to have the occasion to leave Beirut. This urban density, as you know, is somehow a bit difficult to live. A good occasion for me also to meet Lebanese citizens, to meet the environment in the country, to have the occasion also to discover some cultural elements, the cherries of Hammana, the good products. And I think that's about the Hima. I mean, we talk about people, we talk about environment, we talk about culture. So each time I can join this kind of event, I take the time to do it, and it's a real pleasure. First of all, I would like to start by thanking the SPNL, with whom we've been working for many years. In 2012, when I came to Lebanon, I discovered what was the Hima. I remember the first meeting with Assad Serhal, who was very committed, dedicated, motivated to explain what was the Hima. And I have to say that from the EU delegation side, at the beginning there was a bit of skepticism because we didn't know what it was about. But we were convinced that it was worth giving a try. And we decided to finance, I think it was the first project on the Hima in 2012. And we very quickly saw that following, let's say, based on the commitment of the team, but also the people who were working on building Himas, it was a good idea. And then I came back in Lebanon 2 years ago, and among the first questions I raised to my colleagues, I said, do you know what is a Hima? And my colleague Assad Serhal, who was managing, or still managing the project, but cannot be here today because he's a young father, so that's a good news. He then told me, well, we will have a meeting in a couple of days with SPNL to the reconnect project, and you will ask Assad Serhal and he will tell you. And Assad, I asked you where the Hima were, and you showed me an impressive map that I have in my office today, showing how fast this has been deployed and how fast and how stable this has been. And to me, this is one of the success stories of the collaboration between the EU and Lebanon, because what you build, what you have built with the help of all of you here, remains sustainable. And this is what we need, not only in Lebanon, but I would say as well in Europe and elsewhere in the world. I think you will have a chance today to listen to what has been achieved in the framework of this project and what also needs to be achieved to make it, let's say, sustainable in terms of explanation, how to raise awareness of the kids through the Snow project, how to increase the accountability of the mayors, all the actors that have, let's say, to work on this adventure to become and to remain sustainable. This forum today takes place as well in a very critical situation for Lebanon. We heard with great sadness a few days ago that several areas that have been supported by the reconnect project have been hit in the south, including in Tir, Mansouri and Karaile. And we are, let's say, following up very closely, again, thanks to the help of the NGOs, what's happening in this context. And the rest show that this is also reported very heavily in Brussels, our headquarters, and towards our member states, as a fact which is totally unacceptable. Environment protection is definitely not separate from the people's daily lives. As we know, it's directly linked to food security, to jobs, to local economies, and to community resilience. And when nature is damaged, people naturally and sadly suffer too. We also know that when communities are under pressure, which is the case in many areas in the country at the moment, environmental degradation often accelerates further. This is why this kind of initiative is very important. Through the Hima approach, this project has shown that when we protect the nature, we can also support local development and empower communities. And I was very happy to hear a few minutes ago, thanks to the translation of my colleague Bendy, that we have here in this assembly people from different origins, from different religions, from different maybe political views, but we are all together to see that when we work together, we are more able to protect, again, these three pillars, which are culture, environmental, and people. And that's very important. And from the EU side, as you can imagine, this is something that we also support very much in our countries. So we really foster and hope that what has been built through this project will continue, that if we come in a year time or in 18 months in any of these villages, we'll be able to see that the concept of Hima that has been supported by the EU is still there, even if the funding, in a way, has gone away, has been directed to other needs in the country. I would like to give a quick word to the Ministry of Environment. Carla, thank you for being here. I think we enjoy a very strong partnership with your ministry for many decades. I mean, and I have to say that in the past 18 months, we have been very, let's say, encouraged to move even more on this important topic, which is environment. I would like also to extend the same words to the Minister of Agriculture, with Mr. Nizar Hani. We have really enjoyed, and we enjoy a very strong and daily dialogue, and we do hope that this will continue in the coming years. I would like to end with a personal note. There is a Latin motto that says "Errare humanum est," l'erreur est humaine, and maybe I would like to thank the Master of Ceremony for having forgotten the EU. We could have been very upset, to be honest. But I'm a positive person, and I took it as a positive sign. I think if we are not mentioned at the beginning, maybe it means that we are so much embedded into the Hima dynamics that you forget us. So I don't say here, don't talk about the EU. To the contrary, please keep talking about the EU, but not the EU alone. I think we have to talk about what the EU and Lebanon do for many decades. You know that we are a stable partner. Last year, other countries decided to withdraw from Lebanon and from elsewhere in the world. My message here is very clear. The EU remains a strong partner of Lebanon, also because in the EU we enjoy the creativity and the power of many Lebanese for many decades. So keep talking about our partnership. Long live Hima, long live Lebanon, and long live the EU-Lebanon partnership. Merci.